started here, doing our first live stream of 2016.
Happy New Year. You know, we'll wish you that Happy New Year in February.
All right, so let's get started. Today we have with us Jonathan Boaz from Phoenix Audio.
Morning, Paul. How's it going?
Yeah, thanks for joining us today.
Yep, thanks for being with us. We really appreciate it. We love having you here. And this is our seventh episode for PTZ Optics, or for HuddleCamHD. So we're really excited about that. We've got a lot of new stuff. As you can see, we're sitting in our virtual set. We've got a couple of New Year's resolutions. One is we are going to keep these short. These live webinars are no longer going to be an hour in 2016. They're going to be 20 minutes. So we got to stay high speed. We got to keep this flowing. We got to keep it rolling.
Yeah.
The other thing is we are streaming in 1080p. So again, another New Year's resolution. We used to do everything in 720. Now we are doing everything in 1080p. So it's a new turn of the page here. Really excited about this. And as you can see, Jonathan behind us. Jonathan,
thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
We can even show you full screen if we want to, which I think would be a good thing to do as you introduce yourself.
Great. So my name is Jonathan Boaz. I am the VP of Sales and Marketing at Phoenix Audio Technologies. Today we're going to be going over some of our products with the main focus on our new Condor microphone array. The Condor is a audio device which is designed to get rid of all your conferencing devices, audio devices from the table, so you can have a clutter-free conference room without the need of wiring anything to the table. The Condor has 50 microphone elements built into it. It is only a microphone, so you'd be connecting it to your existing speakers or the built-in speakers into your monitor. It also has the option to connect to sound bars through an optical connection, and really allows you to be able to put all your AV equipment against the wall in one station place and have a clutter-free conference room without the need to deploy anything to the table. The Condor can also pick up voices throughout the room. That's what makes it so effective. Right now, I'm standing about 3-4 feet away from it, speaking in a normal voice, not raising my voice in any way. I can walk a little bit around the room so you guys can hear me from different points and see how the pickup works. Okay?
Awesome.
All right, that'd be great.
Right now, I'm standing about 12 feet, 13 feet away from the Condor. Again, speaking in more or less the same voice. The point that you're supposed to see here is how it's able to pick up the voice of somebody who's sitting just randomly in the middle of the room, again, without having a microphone in close proximity to him, but having the microphone array sit above the monitor that's in front of me right now. I'll stand in the back of the room. Right now, this has been measured. I measured this before this meeting. This is about 23, 24 feet away from the screen from the Condor right now. Again, I'm speaking more or less the same exact voice. You should be able to hear me come through on your end exactly like when I was standing close by. I came up closer again, speaking very close to the Condor right now. I'm about a foot away from it. And again, the voice should sound to the far end or less the same. Connectivity-wise, it has a very simple and straightforward connections. It doesn't require any setup. It connects through USB to any video conferencing application, to a PCO codec. It supports USB. It also has analog connections, which allow it to connect to existing video codecs that require an analog connection. It doesn't require any pre-setup. There's no mixer on the back end that is required for the audio processing. It's an all-in-one device, so it's DSP-based and it does all the echo canceling, noise canceling, and it does beamforming throughout the room to pick up the voices from different points throughout a conversation.
Okay.
That is awesome. This is just really cool. I have a couple things I want to show about the Condor, and I got a little picture here of the Condor there. So Jonathan mentioned that we have 15 microphone elements inside a single microphone.
Condor's right there in front of
And
us.
the Condors are right here, as you can see beautifully. superimposed. It also has a 30-foot pickup range, which is amazing for the industry.
And that covers most rooms too. When we talk to a lot of clients about their conference rooms, stuff like that, it's all
30 foot's
yeah, 20
ideal.
Yeah, 20 to 30 foot is your most common.
We have built-in SIP phone and a smartphone app, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'll touch on that a bit because I didn't mention it in my demo here before. So the Condor is designed to eliminate the need of any audio device on the table. Now, while we mentioned that it connects to your video conferencing application, like we're demonstrating right now, we wanted also to eliminate the need to even put a conference phone on the table as well. So you'll have no wires and that clutter-free conference room that a lot of clients would like to have. So the Condor has a built-in SIP client in it, so it connects to your PBX system just like any other telephony endpoint that you may have. And the dialing mechanism works through an app, just like you mentioned. The app is available on iOS, and you can run either on your iPhone or iPad. And it'll be down the road also available on other platforms as well. So it's a really addresses the requirement that a lot of end users have to have nothing on the table and to have a really clean and sleek looking conference room.
Yeah, I know. I think that those two features that we've talked at so far are just groundbreaking for the industry. Jonathan also mentioned the web conferencing USB 2.0 connection. That's like, at this point, it's almost like a requirement for almost everything we do.
That opens up the door for almost any application that you want to do on your PC. And if you're an organization or a business that doesn't have a computer in it, then I don't know how you survive.
So, and then there's one last one here. I threw in a final one, which is installation. And it does include a wall mount or stand. I don't know if you want to show that to us, if you possibly can. If you can't, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it'll be a bit difficult to show, but just to elaborate on that a bit. So there's two ways of how you can put the Condor in your conference room. One is the stand option. So it's basically it's two clips that go below the Condor, which allow you to put it on a shelf or it's kind of mounting system of some sort. Right now, I have an AV card in front of me, which traditionally has a shelf on the top. I have the Condor placed through the stand clips on that shelf. The other mechanism is a wall mount. So the wall mount is basically just two hooks that you can connect to the wall, and the Condor just gets placed on them. It's very simple, very easy to install. Doesn't require any sophisticated installing equipment of any sort. And the whole point of the product is to be an easy to use plug and play type of device, and I think also our mounting options support that motto.
So Jonathan, real quick, what were some of the major gripes when Phoenix was designing this, coming up with this design? What were some of the major gripes, the things you heard from clients, customers that helped you kind of in the development of this product? Why did you come up with this solution?
Well, I think the number one thing that drove us to create this solution was the requirement that a lot of end users have, which they want what they like to call clutter-free conference rooms, where they want nothing on the table. But on the other hand, they don't want to pay the big price of other solutions that are out there that give you that experience. So currently in the market space, if you want nothing on the table, you're required to put speakers and microphones on the ceiling spread out throughout the room. We all know that those microphones and speakers are not cheap. They can run between $100 to maybe $300, $400 per microphone. And in addition to that, you're required to put a mixer on the back end that will process all that audio. Throw into that you also a lot of times need almost an audio engineer on hand at any given point when you want to use that conference room. So it really made that type of solution not really viable to a lot of people who still want to have a conference room which they can bring people in and impress them with a really good looking type of setup. So that was the first thing that drove us to create the Condor, is to how do we address a clutter-free conference room, not having it cost $10,000, $20,000, and having it easy to install. So I think we really hit a sweet spot with the Condor. The MSRP on the product is placed at $1,250, so that's $1,250, and that's all you need for an audio device and you have that clean conference room that really a lot of people desire to have nowadays.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's great. All right, guys, this has been 10 minutes. We got 10 more minutes. Let's go ahead and talk about the Phoenix Audio Spider, which really, to me, is like your guys', I don't know if it's your number one product. That's really for you to say, but we've got it over superimposed here, and we've got four features we want to talk about. One is the PSTN and the SIP dialing with USB bridging. Pat, I know we've got actually a Spider here we're using now. You're actually hearing us through a Spider now, and we're going to show it off in a little bit. Do you want to talk a little bit about the Spider, Jonathan?
Yeah, for sure. So I think, like you mentioned, one of the key features of the product it's dual connectivity. So a lot of times they get asked, what does that mean, dual connectivity? So what the Spider allows you to do, it allows you basically to have one audio device sitting on your table, which addresses two needs. One is to just regular telephony calls that you have in your conference room, and the other one, on the other side, it also acts as your USB speakerphone for your video conferencing application. Like you mentioned, the bridging element, it allows you to take those two platforms and have them in one conversation. So a use case that a lot of our clients run into is they're in a video call using the USB connectivity, and there's that one person you want to dial. Just ask them that quick question, or to bridge them into the call and bring them into the conversation that you're having in that meeting. Through the Spider, you're able to do that. All you need to do is basically dial the phone number on the keypad. The Spider on its own bridges that person immediately into the conversation, and now you have a three-way bridge between two different platforms without having to do anything sophisticated, not having to do anything but actually just dial that person. Yeah. So three-way bridging is a really cool element that a lot of our users love about the product, and really allows them to use the product to its fullest.
The next feature we have here that we have highlighted is the daisy chaining. And I know that's been popular for so many of our customers. It looks like you can daisy chain up to 14 smart spiders, which is the MT503. Pat, let's hold that up here and show what that looks like. And basically what we have here is this is, I guess, I don't know, Jonathan, how you want to describe this. I guess it's the smaller version without the dial pad.
Exactly. So the Smart Spider, it's a speakerphone on its own, and I think that's very important to mention. From the fact that traditionally in the space, in other conference phone devices, when you're expanding the coverage, you're expanding just with the microphone, whether it's extender microphones that you're able to connect to the main conference phone unit. With the Smart Spider, you're really able to fill the room with audio, not only with additional pickup with the satellite unit, but also with an additional speaker drop with them. So you're really able to cover a very large space through our satellite units. Like you mentioned, you're able to connect it to 14 satellite units. So you're virtually able to cover almost any size conference room. The pickup range on the device, depending on the room, ranges between 15 to 20 feet pickup radius from it. And you're able to really cover almost any size room once you go to daisy chaining 14 more units. I think it's also important to mention that we also support power daisy chaining, which basically what that means is that we don't only daisy chain units, we also pass power to that daisy chain unit. So you don't have to worry about powering the satellite units, microphone, and speakers when you have that chain. You have one power supply going into the main unit, and it powers the rest of the chain throughout the room, and keeping it really easy to deploy. Last thing to mention about the daisy chaining, the connection between the units is a standard Cat5 cable. So it's very easy to do that daisy chaining. You don't require any proprietary cabling or anything of that sort. You could expand the distances between the units just by buying a bit longer Cat5 cable if you need that.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
And that's been a very popular solution for a lot of our clients. They've definitely brought that up. Cat cable is readily available, super easy to do. And I've had a lot of clients, that they're not sure how much they need, how much audio coverage they want. So usually I've had clients, come, they get one unit, maybe get your MT340, that's another powered daisy chaining device you guys sell, which we don't have on here, so keep that short. But they get one unit, and then they find out that it's not enough, or they'd like to get a second one, or their table's longer than they realized, so they just get a second unit, right? Bam, you kind of, or they get two more units or something like that.
And the fact that you don't have to power them in the ceiling or wherever they end up being is just ideal. Pat, let's go to our live view of the. This is our spider here, and we're moving over to the feature of the LED dial pad. So here's the LED dial pad right here. As you can see, very easy to go up and down with volume. Perhaps you might want to do. You might want to. This dial pad. I know you can actually store contacts in here for you have like speed dialing basically.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll start with the fact that the dial pad had a lot of thought behind it in regards to the design of it. Again, an element that is a lot of times ignored in conference rooms is that a conference room is a place where it's sometimes not only used for within a company having meetings and walking into a room to make dials, but it's also a place where you sometimes host people from out of the office in that room for a meeting. Mm-hmm. And having a really cool looking product so you can have on the table over there is something that a lot of people would like to have in their conference room. So the dial pad is designed to have really innovative type of design to it. And the LED dial pad comes to life only in use, and when it's not in use, you have a black slate, which really keeps a clean look throughout the on the conference phone. I think the LED lights that are also built in under the grill, which you mentioned, they're very important also for your interaction with the product itself. So right now you can see the LED lights that are on the spider, which are picking up voice and showing you where it's able to pick up noise when it's being used. That's a visual indicator that really helps the end user in your experience with the product, knowing that you're picked up by the device, knowing that it can hear you, allows you just to speak in a normal voice and not have to scream at your conference phone, which is traditionally what people do when they're in a conferencing meeting. They usually raise their voice and scream at the phone because they think they're not heard, because they're not holding a handset in their hand. So having that visual indicator is very important. Obviously, when you go into mute and have the red light, it's always good to know when you're on mute for a lot of good reasons. Yeah. So having visual indicators under the grill was something that we really put a lot of thought into, which we wanted the end user experience to be as intuitive as possible. And having those type of notifications from the product really helps for that.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay, guys, we only have 2 minutes left, so I just want to mention it is USB. We talked about that. It's for web conferencing. That's amazing. So that is pretty much it for the Condor. That is it for the Spider. Jonathan, thank you so much for coming. We've had a great quick webinar. I'm going to really briefly talk about how we live stream. So thanks, Jonathan. If you want to hang on, we can talk to you after the show.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit how we live stream, just really quickly. The way we live stream our webinars, and I'm gonna basically go over this, is we have a web conference going on. That's how we can bring Jonathan in through Zoom video conferencing. And what we do is we split that video conference and we pull it into a live streaming laptop, my laptop here, which is running vMix. And that's how we add all the overlays. We do all the video on the fly, and we stream it out to YouTube Live. There's plenty of places you can live stream to. We've got tons of information about this on our website, so I'm not going to go into it over the top. We just want to thank everyone for joining, and have a nice day, and stay tuned. Every week, every Friday, we do this webinar. So thank you all for watching, and have a nice day.
Thank you.